you in a good health. I do appreciate for the school management to give me this chance to be with you on the internet. Now please, you should prepare some of paper and concentrate with me, please. Open your book, Unit 13, Danger in the Sea, Part 1. Lesson 1, New Vocabulary. I will give the new verbs and you give some examples about these verbs. The first verb, leave. Leave. Leave, left, left. Pay. Pay. Pay, paid, paid. Look after. Look after. Looked after, looked after. Can you give me an example about leave, please? Yes, you can think about a minute, please. Leave, very good. We can say, I left home at 7 o'clock yesterday. Pay, I paid 50 pounds for this camera. My mother looked after me when I was a baby. Very good. Now we will explain new words. Businessman. He has lots of work. He is a businessman. Overseas. Every year my father travels overseas. Terrible. The lion is a terrible animal. Now we will look at the grammar rules. Grammar, we will explain the second conditional with if. Form. If plus past simple, would plus infinitive. Again, you can write down this form. If. What does if mean? Good. إذا أو لو. Plus past simple. We call it close if. Or if close. Would plus infinitive, the main sentence. An example. If he had time, he would visit us. If he studied well, he would, or he'd, we can abbreviate it, would apostrophe D. Get high marks. Would plus infinitive plus if plus past simple. I would buy a car if I had money. I would buy a car if I had money. Now, supply the missing parts in the following two-minute dialogue. Ali is talking to Omar. Ali says, what would you do if you had a camera? What would you do if you had a camera? You can imagine the situation. كنت تعمل ايه لو كان معاك كاميرا؟ Think. Very good. Now look at the model answer. I would take a photo. I would take a photo. Now, Soha is talking. What would you do if you had a problem? I'd discuss it with a friend. I'd discuss it with a friend. Now choose the correct answer. Number 1. If I saw a snake, I run away. The choices would, will, shall, may. Now remember what we say. Very good. Would. If I saw a snake, I would run away. Next. What would you do if you to France? What would you do if? If plus what? Good. Went. What would you do if you went to France? Number 3. If he didn't waste his time, if he didn't waste his time, he would succeed, wouldn't succeed, will succeed, won't succeed. If he didn't waste his time. Very good. He would succeed. Wouldn't succeed, in grammatical correct, but in meaning is false. Number 4. If I were. Now we will take if I were usage. Why we use if I were? Number 1, giving advice. You want to give advice for someone. You can use if second conditional if I were. An example, if I were you, if I were you, I would buy a new bag. If I were you, I would buy a new bag. Number B, giving opinions about situations to problem. يعني تدي رأيك في حل مشكلة ما. في مشكلة وانت بتقول فيها رأيك. If I were Ahmed, Ahmed has a problem. You say, if I were Ahmed, I would write to my uncle. Expressing improbable or impossible. If I were a fish, you aren't a fish. You imagine you are a fish. If I were a fish, I could explore the oceans. لو كنت سمكة كنت قدرت أكتشف المحيطات. Choose if I, you. Professor, I take the submarine to the bottom. If I, you, professor. لو كنت مكانك يا professor, professor means أستاذ جامعي. If I am, was, be, were. The model answer. Very good. If I were you. Number 2. If he. All the pronouns in the second conditional take were. If he were a lion. If he were a lion, he would frighten people. لو هو أسد كان أخاف الناس. Now we will talk about another thing, the subject pronouns and object pronouns. Subject pronouns comes before the verb. The person who makes a verb or does a verb, like I, you, he, she, it, we, they. Now we will talk about object pronouns. Object pronouns comes after the verb. Me, you, him, her, it, us, them. You can write down them. Good. Now we will talk about lesson 1. Lesson 2, we will see the verbs. Vocabulary. The vocabulary in lesson 2: petrol, tank, town. Petrol. I put petrol in my car. Tank. Tank. We put the petrol in the car tank. Town. Small city. Banha is a town. New verbs. Come, came, come. We come to school at 7 o'clock in the morning. Take, took, taken. Send, sent, sent. Yourself. Think, thought, thought. New words. News. Careful. Aunt. Can you give me an example about news? We say this news is good. This news is good. We don't say these news are. News is singular. Yes, very good. Police station. Officer. Dangerous. Thieves. Get into. Speak. Lesson 4. Speak, spoke, spoken. Draw, drew, drawn. Fail, failed, failed. Advise, advised, advised. Lend, lent, lent. Noun, advice. أبوين, parents. خطأ, wrong. Now we will talk about the text in lesson 1. Lesson 1, main points. You can open your book and write the text. Ahmed is watching a film called Ashraf's Problem. The film is about a university student, Ashraf, who wants to be a doctor. Ashraf has some problems. Ashraf hasn't got any brothers or sisters. His father is ill, and his mother died when he was young. Ashraf wants to leave university. Why? To help his father. Very good. But his father wants him to study. As Ashraf hasn't got enough money, he decided to write to his uncle. He is a businessman living in Australia. Now Soha is talking to Ahmed. They talk about the film. Soha says, then Ashraf must leave university to help Munir. That's what Ashraf wants to do. But Munir wants him to study. بابا عاوزه يدرس مش عاوزه يشتغل. Soha, couldn't Ashraf pay someone to look after his father? يدفع لشخص عشان يعتني ببابا. Ahmed, no, he hasn't got much money. Soha, can't anyone else help? Yes, Ashraf has an uncle. He is a businessman, but he lives in Australia. Ashraf should write to him. Look, he is writing to him now. Now, let's practice lesson 1. What Ashraf's uncle in Egypt? Was Ashraf's uncle in Egypt? Look at the text again and answer. No, he wasn't. He was in Aswan. Why didn't Ashraf's uncle give him any money? Why didn't Ashraf's uncle give him any money? He didn't get Ashraf's a letter. لم يصل الخطاب بتاع أشرف. What happened to Ashraf at end of the film? ايه اللي حصل لأشرف في آخر الفيلم؟ He became a doctor. He succeeded and became a doctor. Now we will take a small homework to do today. Imagine you have a pet. If you have a pet, what would you like to be? What would you like to call it? What would you call? What would you? Where would you like to do it? Thank you. See you soon. Goodbye.